Most people see an e-commerce site as a product page, a cart, a checkout button.
Marketers see the machinery behind it: product data, tracking, SEO equity, ad feeds, shipping rules, buyer behavior, and all the plumbing customers never notice.
And that's where things get risky. When you're the one responsible for making sure your platform is keeping up, the instinct is to rebuild or migrate fast.
But if you don't do it right, you can break the very things that are still working.
So what's an e-commerce manager to do?
Keep listening. You'll learn what to protect, what to fix, and how to move forward without making the problem worse.
Welcome to Trivera's AI Deep Dive podcast, hosted by Chip and Nova, our AI co-hosts. Together, they transform top marketing insights from our blogs, articles, and events into actionable strategies you can use. Ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Welcome to the Trivera Deep Dive podcast. I am your AI co-host, Chip.
And I am your other AI co-host, Nova. We are thrilled to be with you today.
Yeah, so today we are doing a deep dive into our own team's recent work. We're unpacking a fascinating case study hot off the presses from our website, written by our lead digital strategist here at Team Trivera.
It's such a great read. We're looking at our team's extensive work migrating an e-commerce platform for our client, the Brewer Company.
Right, and the mission for this deep dive is to look way beyond all that dry technical jargon of an e-commerce migration. We want to bypass the chatter about redirects and server configurations for just a minute.
Yeah, to uncover the true objective behind these massive digital overhauls, which is really about making business fundamentally easier. Unlocking that growth that is quietly being suffocated by a company's own internal tools.
And Nova, our team's experience here is incredibly insightful because our client, the Brewer Company, they aren't selling t-shirts or coffee mugs.
No, not at all. They are a major manufacturer of medical seating, exam tables, highly complex clinical room equipment, and they sell directly to healthcare providers nationwide.
So we are dealing with highly technical products and a very specific B2B buyer, which, brings us right into the trap of it still works.
Oh, that is such a dangerous trap.
Right. It's one thing to say a company wants to make things easier, but you have to look at the situation that had become incredibly difficult behind the scenes. So, Brewer was running their online store on WooCommerce, and technically, the store was functioning.
Transactions were clearing the bank.
Exactly.
Well,
the money was moving.
Yeah.
But the platform was actively fighting our clients' internal teams on a daily basis.
Yeah, our team calls this the complacency stage in business technology. Companies slip into it so slowly they don't even realize it's happening.
They just kind of get used to the pain.
Exactly, Chip. A business will incrementally absorb operational pain. So you take the complexity of Brewer's medical products,
Which is, thousands of variants?
thousands of variants plus specialized healthcare compliance needs, and you combine all that with a massive stack of messy WooCommerce plugins. It was creating just severe operational friction for them.
I look at it a lot like an aging smartphone. You have a phone that technically still makes calls. Right, barely. The battery dies in 45 minutes, the screen is shattered, and you literally have to delete 3 old apps just to have enough storage to receive a new text message.
Right.
You wouldn't look at that phone and say it's working well. But in a business setting, leadership often looks at a website that technically processes a credit card, and they just assume everything is fine.
Totally blind to the fact that their team is wasting half their week managing the software shortcomings.
Yeah.
The friction becomes invisible because it morphs into, just the way we do things here. Let's look at the mechanics of why that happens with an older, overloaded platform. So WooCommerce relies heavily on third-party plugins to add functionality, right?
Right. You need a plugin for everything.
Exactly. Over the years, a company might install a plugin for shipping, another for tax calculation, maybe another for bulk discounts. And each of these adds PHP scripts and database queries.
Oh boy.
So every time a customer loads a page, the server is running an absolute marathon to compile all that conflicting code.
And when something breaks, instead of rebuilding the foundation, an employee just creates a manual workaround.
Right, like maybe a shipping rule doesn't calculate right, so an internal rep manually emails the customer an adjusted invoice.
So the internal team transforms from being managers of the business's growth into managers of the platform's friction. They're just putting out fires all day.
Precisely. And our case study points out that Brewer's e-commerce needs were scaling up. It made the limitations of their existing store completely impossible to ignore. Treating the solution as, a simple copy and paste job to a shiny new website would have been a catastrophic failure.
Because it wasn't just a cosmetic issue. Team Trivera had to juggle 5 massive simultaneous priorities to actually fix the root of the problem.
Right. 5 massive pillars.
So first, they needed to simplify internal e-commerce management to reduce that day-to-day burden we just talked about. Second, they had to preserve years of hard-earned search visibility through meticulous SEO planning.
Which is so crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Third, they had to maintain ongoing marketing continuity, meaning, product feeds, paid media tracking, and analytics couldn't just drop off the map during the transition.
Right. And Chip, the 4th and 5th priorities are really where the heavy lifting happens. Fourth, they had to handle highly complex shipping rules, which in their case included UPS, freight, and less than truckload or LTL shipments.
Yeah.
And fifth, drastically improving the user experience for healthcare buyers navigating this massive catalog. If any one of those 5 pillars collapses during the migration, the whole project fails.
I want to push back on that 4th point a bit, Nova. Because if you're a listener who mostly buys standard consumer goods online, e-commerce seems pretty straightforward, right?
Sure. Click and buy.
Yeah. You put a pair of sneakers in a cart, you type in your address, you pay, and it shows up a few days later. Why does a medical exam table manufacturer have such a wildly complex shipping setup compared to someone selling consumer apparel?
Well, it's a fundamental difference in logistics. When you ship sneakers, you're dealing with standard parcel delivery. It's highly predictable, based purely on a lightweight package going to a standard mailbox or a porch.
Right, it's simple.
Exactly. But an adjustable medical exam table weighs hundreds of pounds and comes on a massive wooden pallet. That requires less than truckload or LTL shipping. It's too big for a standard delivery van, but it doesn't require an entire dedicated semi-truck.
So the logistics become entirely dynamic, and the e-commerce platform has to figure that out on the fly.
Correct. The shipping cost isn't just about raw weight. The platform has to calculate dimensional weight.
Which is how much space it takes up in the truck.
Exactly, along with the specific freight class. Then it has to evaluate the destination. Like, does the receiving clinic actually have a commercial loading dock?
Oh, right, because if they don't...
If not, the delivery truck needs to be equipped with a hydraulic liftgate to get the pallet to the ground. And is the address residential or commercial? A delivery to a residential neighborhood often incurs an extra fee because semi-trucks can't easily navigate tight streets.
Wow. You can't just throw a banner on the homepage that says flat rate $50 shipping when you're dealing with that many variables.
Definitely not. If you get the calculation wrong by a few $100s on a freight shipment, you either shock the customer with an artificially high price and lose the sale, or you undercharge and the business eats a massive loss on the freight bill.
So the plumbing really is the business. And to tackle those 5 priorities, especially that complex LTL plumbing, it requires a really deep understanding of the existing infrastructure. Which brings us to what our wisdom highlights as the secret weapon of this whole project.
Yes, the history.
The history between our agency and the client. Team Trivera didn't just walk in cold. We'd been working with the Brewer Company since 2019, managing their SEO, their marketing, and their ongoing strategy.
We knew exactly what digital assets were load-bearing.
But, I can hear a skeptical operations manager right now saying, hey, couldn't any top-tier digital agency just run a comprehensive site audit, look at the data structure, and figure it out on the fly? Why is our long-term relationship the deciding factor here, Nova?
It comes down to a concept our team likes to call digital equity. An automated site audit or a crawler. It's an incredible tool, but it only tells you what is there today. A long history with a client tells you why it's there.
Oh, I like that.
Well,
it's the difference between looking at the architectural blueprint versus actually knowing why the previous builder put a support beam in a specific spot.
Exactly. Let's look at a practical example. Say a new agency runs a site crawl and finds a landing page with a really convoluted URL structure. It doesn't neatly fit into the main product catalog.
Right.
A new team might look at that, assume it's just legacy clutter, and delete it to create a cleaner site architecture.
Makes sense on paper.
But an agency that has been partnering with the client for 5 years knows that specific messy URL was custom built for a highly lucrative multi-year paid media campaign, one that's targeting a very specific niche of hospital procurement officers.
Oh, wow. So deleting it would instantly sever the marketing momentum. You'd just kill the ROI of an active ad campaign.
Exactly. So a major part of a successful migration is essentially strategic triage. You are making thousands of micro decisions about data restructuring. When you know the history, you know what marketing momentum needs to be protected, avoiding the accidental demolition of those hidden revenue streams.
And knowing what is load-bearing directly dictates how you dismantle the old structure and pour the new foundation. So in this case, the execution phase meant Team Trivera fully migrating Brewer off of that clunky WooCommerce setup and onto Shopify.
Right. Which isn't just, exporting a CSV spreadsheet from one system and importing it into another. Our team had to fundamentally restructure Brewer's product data and variant logic to fit natively inside Shopify's environment.
That's a huge undertaking. And to solve the LTL nightmare, didn't they integrate a C.H. Robinson quoting solution directly into the new Shopify platform?
Yes, they did, dynamically solving the liftgate and dimensional weight calculations right at checkout.
Brilliant. But honestly, the element of this execution that seems the most perilous to me is the SEO migration. Mapping the URLs, implementing strategic redirects, carefully porting over metadata. It's stressful just thinking about it.
Oh, mishandling technical search signals is the single biggest reason companies are terrified of platform migrations. I mean, they've spent a decade building authority and trust with Google. You don't want to just throw that away.
The best way I can visualize SEO migration is to imagine a physical retail store. Let's say it's been on Main Street for 10 years. Everyone in town knows exactly where it is.
Right.
If that business moves to a new facility clear across town, but they don't update the GPS systems, they don't print new flyers, they don't even leave a sticky note on the old door.
It's a disaster.
Loyal customers are going to drive to an empty lot on Main Street. They'll get frustrated, and the business loses them to a competitor. In the digital world, the 301 redirects and the metadata updates are that GPS update.
That analogy perfectly illustrates the user experience, Chip, and the underlying technical mechanism works in a very similar way for search engine crawlers. When Google ranks a page highly, it's because that specific URL has accumulated link equity over time.
Trust signals, basically.
Yeah, trust signals from other websites linking to it, historical click-through rates, verified content relevance. If you change your e-commerce platform, the URL structure almost always changes. A product that used to live at, say, /category/table might now live at /product/exam table.
And if a search crawler comes looking for the old URL and hits a 404 page not found error, all that accumulated trust vanishes instantly. It's the digital equivalent of a boarded-up storefront.
Exactly. A 301 redirect is a technical instruction telling the search engine, hey, this highly authoritative page hasn't disappeared. It has permanently moved to this new address. Please pass all of our accumulated link equity over to the new URL.
Wow.
If you fail to map thousands of URLs perfectly during a migration, the search engine just assumes your valuable content is gone, and your organic traffic plummets overnight. It requires absolute surgical precision.
The stakes literally could not be higher. We are going to pause right here.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to dive into the results of all this hard work. Did our team's surgical precision actually pay off? You won't want to miss these numbers. Stay with us.
We'll be right back. Chip, it's hard to believe, but we're already halfway through the year.
I know. And while a lot of organizations are shifting into summer mode, the reality is that fourth quarter is right around the corner.
And for many businesses, Q4 isn't just another quarter. It's the quarter that determines whether annual goals are met or missed.
Exactly. The challenge is that the company's still scrambling to fix websites, clean up content, improve visibility, or streamline marketing processes in October are already behind.
That's why smart organizations use the summer months to prepare. They strengthen their foundation while there's still time to make an impact this year.
Because momentum built in July and August often shows up in revenue conversations by November and December.
And when budget discussions for next year begin, it's a lot easier to make your case when you're already finishing strong.
Visit Trivera.com and discover how 30 years of digital marketing experience can help you build momentum now and carry it into the future.
Trivera, helping businesses get ahead and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. Now back to our conversation with Chip and Nova.
Welcome back to our deep dive. I'm Chip, alongside my co-host Nova, and we are unpacking Team Trivera's e-commerce migration for our client, the Brewer Company.
Before the break, we talked about the massive risks involved in a project like this, so let's look at the ultimate test. Did the metaphorical GPS actually update properly, and did the business actually grow?
Because the results highlighted in our team's case study are, frankly, pretty staggering.
The metrics really tell the story of what happens when you finally remove operational friction.
Okay, let me read these off. Within 4 months of launching the new Shopify site, the Brewer Company saw a 36% increase in new users.
Incredible.
They had a 47% increase in page views, a 26% bump in their overall engagement rate, and a 20% increase in e-commerce item revenue.
Wow.
But Nova, the most surprising metric to me is the search data. A 31% increase in organic search clicks, accompanied by a 21% improvement in average search ranking position.
That specific search metric is crucial to understanding the true value of modernizing a digital platform.
See, I've always viewed SEO migration as an exercise in pure damage control. You hold your breath, you map your redirects, and you just pray you don't lose the traffic you already have. Gaining 31% more organic traffic right after a massive platform swap seems totally counterintuitive. How does migration actually trigger that much new growth?
Well, to understand that, we have to look at how technical friction actively suppresses search rankings. When a platform is bloated with conflicting plugins, heavy PHP scripts, and inefficient database queries like their old WooCommerce site was...
The site loads slowly.
Exactly. Search engines monitor what are called core web vitals. These are metrics that measure how fast a page loads, how quickly it becomes interactive, and how stable the visual layout is.
Right.
If a site is slow and clunky, users bounce back to the search results quickly. Google detects that poor user experience and actively demotes the site in rankings even if the actual content is highly relevant.
Meaning, the old site was literally acting as an anchor. It was dragging their rankings down without them even realizing it, just by being slow.
Precisely, Chip. By executing the technical redirects flawlessly, our agency protected our clients' baseline authority. But by moving them to a fast, clean, well-structured Shopify foundation, Team Trivera removed the anchor.
It's brilliant.
Improving the site structure, creating an intuitive user experience for those healthcare buyers, and vastly increasing page load speeds, it acts as an accelerant. Search engines reward fast, stable sites where users actually stay and engage. We didn't just protect digital equity, our team unleashed its potential.
It really is just removing the ceiling that was quietly holding back their growth. Our case study actually features a quote from Lucas Lauterbach, the marketing communications manager at the Brewer Company.
Oh, I love this quote.
Yeah, he notes that our team helped them transition to a platform that's significantly easier to manage, supporting the needs of both their customers and their internal staff. And he ends by saying, we now have a stronger e-commerce foundation for future growth.
A stronger foundation for future growth that perfectly captures the core thesis of a successful digital transformation. The intrinsic value of the migration wasn't merely the act of getting onto Shopify. The value is everything that Shopify makes easier. It is easier for healthcare buyers to navigate complex LTL shipping. It is easier for the internal team to manage product variants without fighting database errors all day. And it is easier for the marketing department to scale campaigns without needing a custom development project for every minor update.
Which brings this entirely back to you, the listener. It's time to take a hard, honest look at your own systems, the tools, and the platforms your team logs into every single day. Are you confidently utilizing your platforms to grow the business, or is your team spending a significant portion of their week just managing the platform itself?
It is incredibly easy to develop blind spots to operational workarounds. Look around your office or your digital workflows. Are there metaphorical sticky notes on monitors reminding staff how to bypass a broken feature?
I've seen that so many times.
Right. Are manual spreadsheet exports holding your logistics together? If your underlying platform is becoming harder to manage, that friction is acting as a hidden tax on your payroll and your growth. It's costing you significantly more than the price of a software upgrade.
It manifests as endless plug-in maintenance, anxiety over routine software updates, and just employee burnout from fighting inefficient tools. None of those things feel like a catastrophe on a random Tuesday, but compounded over a year. They quietly kill your momentum. They make the business fundamentally harder to run than it needs to be.
Absolutely. And that is exactly where Team Trivera comes in. If you are realizing that your tools are blocking your growth, we want to help you put this exact expertise to use for your own digital marketing and operations. Our team has the experience to map out your digital equity, handle the complex plumbing, and build you a platform that actually accelerates your business instead of holding it back.
Spot on, Nova. That's what we do. Well, if you found this deep dive helpful, the link to our original case study is right down in the show notes. Please go check it out.
And remember, the Trivera Deep Dive podcast is available on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, and all the major platforms.
So please download, subscribe, and share this with anyone on your team who might be feeling the pain of an outdated platform. For Nova, I'm Chip. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on Trivera's AI Deep Dive with Chip and Nova. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more and stay up to date with new episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, or find them on our website and our social media channels. And don't forget to visit us at Trivera.com to learn how we can help take your marketing to the next level. Ready to talk? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.